Hello, people. Welcome
Hello,
to
hello.
Brickanista Broadcast Network. Hello. I'm here with my buddy, Joriel Builds, and I am happy to say I'm taking a little bit of a break from Bricks by the Bay. So some of you may know this weekend is tremendously busy because you have Fan Weekend in Portugal and you have Bricks by the Bay coming up at the same time. And it has been a little crazy just kind of managing both. And if I did this correctly, I hope I didn't make a duplicate entry like I did last time, and that we should be ready to go. So
I'm
thank you,
seeing a
everyone.
symbol. It says at the top of my screen, it says live on custom live streaming service. So
Okay, I
should be
guess
good to
we are
go.
live. And I'm looking at the YouTube studio. So for those of you who want to learn more about streaming, you may remember that the last time I did this with Joriel Builds, he and I were doing our daily brick limit update live, and we were doing the awards and the calculations of all of the entries. And when I went live, it created a duplicate account. Oh, so brick literacy is here. Yay. Now what I've
Hey,
done is I've learned what you can do is you can go into Zoom and then you have to do custom streaming service. And because in the past, this is where software developers and user interfaces, hello, when it says go live on YouTube, that's what I thought I was supposed to do. And I found out what you need to do is you need to use the custom streaming service on Zoom and then pair it with all your stream keys, your URLs, and everything. And I got it right. So, woo!
yes.
And thank you, Cowboy Kenobi, for confirming that. And we've got Brick Literacy on, and I can actually see the chat while I'm in Zoom. So,
Oh,
this
that's
is
good.
awesome. Yeah, I'm excited about it. So, for
I
those of you who are
remember
new,
the
I,
last time that we did this back in February when we did our award stream for January's brick limit. We had, the two streams going, and one stream had all of our friends joining it and sending us messages that said, hello, the audio's not working. We can
yes,
see
I
you, but we can't
know.
hear you. And the other stream had, I think, maybe just the audio. And there are people trying to send comments there saying, we can hear you, but we can't see you. And eventually we had to merge the two. So it sounds like today we're off to
I
a great
got it
start.
done. And I know Cowboy Kenobi is one of my mods. So you probably, if you haven't seen it, go back and watch Meet the Mods. You'll get to know about Cowboy Kenobi and Debo. And I know he's had to, tell me your audio's off, or, you've got two streams going. And so thank you so much. It's great. And Robin Eklund just joined us. So, hey, Robin, great to have you here. So, yeah, so now it's like, I feel like I got the secret code. I've got it worked out. So I've got Zoom going in the background. I'm actually watching YouTube Studio, and YouTube Studio has the chat, because before I'd have to switch between windows to get that done. So anyway, thank you. So for those of you who are new, my name's Naomi, the Brickanista, and I'm here with my good friend Joriel Builds, also known as John M. Williams. And we're just going to have a short chat because I have to be on another session at 2:00. But I wanted to just say, first of all, I feel so blessed to have gotten to know John, because he and I met each other through the Tricky Bricks YouTube stream. And he reached out to me because he really liked my Super Sewer Baby stories.
Yes.
And I have you to thank too, because I really was thinking I need to park that, and I just need to kind of put it to bed and not work on those stories anymore. So thanks to you, I've rejuvenated my interest in that. And I really appreciate you for that, because I was kind of at a down point at one point. That's when Batmanda and Chubbin showed up. So
Yeah.
if you look at the timeline, it's like Super Sewer Baby, all these builds, and then all of a sudden, boom, Batmanda and Chubbin, here you go.
Well, that was one of my, I feel like one of the first experiences that we got in seeing what a supportive online Lego community looked like was, we connected over being part of Tricky Lug and doing the Tricky Bricks build challenges on YouTube. And, me and my friend Shane, who also is part of Tricky Lug and who we regularly do things with on Instagram, we were both logging in every stream and, watching all of the builds and all the challenges come together. And it became sort of like this exciting moment for everybody in the lug to sit down and, start watching the challenge slideshow every Friday. It's like, all right, Brickanista is coming up. Time to see what she did with her characters today. What's the next adventure in the Super Sewer Baby timeline? And it was, this exciting thing. So, we thought, I remember you asking, like, is this going well? Is this something that people want to keep seeing? And we're like, yes, absolutely, because we love it. And it's an exciting thing for us on Friday. And that was sort of like, for us, an experience of like seeing people, just random people come together and, just supporting each other's storytelling and creativity. And that's really sort of blossomed into, or, was sort of a precursor to, I think what we have on Instagram as Tricky Lug and as the Daily Brick Limit community and everything. And just seeing how connected and supportive people are of each other's creativity on Instagram as well. So it's been a good experience.
Well, I wanted to mention, and I'm not sure why we're getting this echo, but I wanted to ask you, since you mentioned Shane Levan. Shane, for those of you who don't know, Shane is one of the moderators for Tricky Bricks, but he also is the person who started the Discord server on behalf of Tricky Bricks, as well as their website. But I wanted to get a sense of how you two met and how you also started Tricky Lug After Dark, which was on Instagram for a while. And that's when I saw you make the Super Sewer Baby mosaic. And I'm going to say a quick hi to Doc Sampson. Hello. So just can you share with us a little bit about, first of all, how did you and Shane meet?
Well, Shane and I actually went to college together. We're really close friends, and we met in college because we were in marching band together in college. Oh. And it was actually sort of weird in that, we're really close friends now, but we didn't really hang out or talk very much while we were in college. It was, I think, I was actually about to graduate undergrad. He had already graduated undergrad, and we started realizing, online that we had a lot of similar interests with movies and music and stuff like that. So we started hanging out, but it wasn't until after Shane graduated that we really started hanging out a lot. So we both, we were in Nashville together, and we spent a lot of time hanging out in Nashville and sort of going to the movies and things like that. And then, once I moved back down here to Atlanta, we haven't been able to spend as much time in person, but we both started watching the first season of Lego Masters US when that was airing last year. And so we were both watching that at the same time. And Shane was the one that started watching, of the two of us, he was the one that started watching the Tricky Brick streams first. Mm-hmm. And so then he, sent me a message. He was like, hey, we've been watching the show. Two of the Lego Masters, Richard and Flynn, have their own, YouTube things that they're doing. And I'm starting to take part in the challenges, and it's really fun, and you should join too. So then from there, at that point, both of us were logging into the streams together and, sending each other build updates and sort of just bouncing ideas off of each other. And the first thing that we really collaborated on was our, like you already mentioned, our Tricky Lug After Dark Instagram stream, which just sort of for a while was a way for, us to sort of host some sort of after the show type of place where people could log in and view and chat with each other while, the two of us, did some live building together. So it's been, a close friendship for us for about, 6 or 7 years now. And now this has just been like the latest shared interest that we've shared out of many, and, been a way for us to keep in touch with each other, especially during the pandemic when things were so crazy. It was a way for the two of us to really stay in touch and to just sort of build a new hobby together. So that's the gist of it.
One thing I noticed is that when you were doing those Instagram live sessions at night for Tricky Lug After Dark, is you are amazing at mosaics. So many people know you for your music, and they know you for some of your Super Swaddle Baby builds and some of the other innovative things that you've done. But I had no idea that you could create a mosaic so quickly, because I think you would stream for maybe 45 minutes and all of a sudden it's like, here's my mosaic. It's done. So can you talk a little bit more about your mosaics? I mean, what drew you to mosaics to begin with? And if I don't know if you have any close by, but if not, just take a look at his Instagram feed because he'll have it there.
Well, first of all, thank you. That means a lot because for a while that was my favorite thing to do with it for a while, and I believe that it got the first time that I started putting them together was for one of the Tricky Bricks challenges, which was, since it started, has been such an awesome way to help everybody that's been part of the hobby grow. If you're not part of a lug or some online community, find some way to, for anyone watching, find some way to set some sort of a challenge for yourself every week, because it gave everybody that weekly goal to sort of help take them to the next level. And the challenges were always so different. And I think it was maybe the third or fourth challenge that I did with them that they hosted a mosaic challenge. Mm-hmm. And that's sort of what got us started on it. It was just 16 by 16. So, it was a little bit smaller. But then once Shane and I were once we started doing our build streams on Instagram, the two of us were trying to just think of some things. What are some things that we can do to build live that, are going to be some things that are going to be, interesting, and, maybe something that we can sort of theme to whatever we're trying to talk about that week. And that just seemed like a really good contender. So, we tried, maybe if it was like this week, Marvel is really big this week. So let's talk Marvel and let's do a Marvel build. Or this week, there's been some big Nintendo news. So, let's talk Nintendo while we're streaming, and then I'll build like a Mario mosaic or a Yoshi mosaic. And so it's been sort of a fun thing that you can build live, and in a way that can create some conversation between everybody that's watching. But if anybody has any questions about it, the biggest thing that was a huge help for me when all this was going on was this was right at the height of when Animal Crossing was really taking everybody by storm. So I was actually using an Animal Crossing website that lets you create a 32 by 32 pattern mosaic based off of any picture that you upload. Oh, and that's the perfect dimensions for a regular base plate. So if you find one of the 32 by 32 base plates at the store, you can take any picture and upload it into that Animal Crossing patterns editor, and it'll give you a 32 by 32 mosaic to start off. And then it's just about taking the right, colored bricks and following the grid and making sure you have all the right colors. So, it's been really fun, and it was a cool way to sort of get our Instagram stream off of the ground. And I think it's a fun way for people to like sort of engage with the hobby at whatever, level they want to, if they're really interested in, building things that tell these types of stories or use these types of characters. It's a nice way to personalize whatever it is that you're building. So that's why the mosaics sort of became the big thing for a while for us.
And did you see the comment by Cowboy Kenobi in the chat?
I'm not sure how to see the chat. Is it on, are you seeing it on YouTube, or are you seeing it?
I'm seeing it on my YouTube studio. So you would have to start a YouTube, I guess on another device or something to see it, because you can't see it from Zoom, unfortunately. But I'll just tell you what Cowboy Cornado just said. He said that this is a modern day bromance. So with you and Shane, I probably need to have you and Shane on together sometime. We'll have to do that for a future episode.
Yeah, no, he and I have been such good friends for so long now, and our tastes match up so well that we never run out of things to talk about. So we really try to be there for each other. So thanks Cornado.
So the other thing that is, so not only are you known for mosaics, you're also known for your music. And the other reason why I'm really happy to have you on is that not only were you instrumental in keeping my faith alive with regard to the Super Sewer Baby stories, but you also have this talent for music. And you came up with a theme song for both the Super Sewer Baby and the Super Baby, at the time, Justice League, now the Super Baby Champion League. and then also for the janitor and the brushies. And I will put links to those in the chat later, but it's also on his YouTube channel. But I'm just curious, what is your creative process with regard to music? Is it similar to what you do with Lego? I mean, it's a very different medium for an artist, and I'm just curious how your process is.
Well, they are very different, for sure. But you know, the first step is just having some sort of a story to be inspired by, which, you know, going back to some of those early build challenges as we were sort of putting our community together, you know, that was one of the exciting things, was seeing the story evolve from one week to the next, whereas, you know, everybody else was sort of just starting over with some new build or something totally different every single week. You had this story that was evolving, and it was really exciting and inspiring for people. And especially as you see the new characters start to pop up every week, you know, it was this own little cinematic universe that was popping up. And, you know, those sorts of things are just asking for some sort of music accompaniment. So, you know, music is my first and foremost thing. I'm a music teacher. I've been playing music since I was 11. That's my main life. That's what I do. That's my job. And so it's about sort of knowing just what are your musical building blocks, you know, instead of taking your Lego blocks and trying to start with a color and start with a shape. Instead of using those, you're using chords and notes. And, you know, that if you look at some of the, you know, great film composers of history, what they do is they take the characters that are central to the story, and then they start looking at those musical building blocks of major chords versus minor chords, and rhythms and tempos and all of these different, you know, musical pieces that go together. What's the right way to connect this chord, and this chord, so that what you hear sounds like, yes, this is Super Sewer Baby, or yes, this is the janitor. And maybe it's a certain scale. You know, the janitor theme was sort of this almost sort of like heist inspired sounding thing. So I tried to, you know, pick some scales or some keys or some chords that sounded like ominous, but in a fun way. And, you know, the Super Baby Champion League, that's more of like, oh, this is heroic and it's grand, so it's loud and it's fast and it's happy and it's innocent. And so, you know, what's the right assembly of chords? Instead of putting a red brick, a green brick, and a blue brick, it's a C major chord, an F major chord, and a G major chord, and together they tell the story sonically the way that, you know, you would tell a story with bricks visually. So
now, do you have Ableton or some software that you use? Because I know I took a short class when I was going to digital filmmaking school, and Ableton seems like the big program to do mixing and some other things. And I'm just curious, what's your platform of music that you use when you're doing these creations?
That's a great question. And this is, you know, if anyone out there is interested in sort of exploring music on their own or trying to learn how to make music at home, there are a couple of things that you can use. If you use Apple products like iPads or iPhones, the big one is called Garageband. And I bring Garageband up because it's a automatic studio production software extraordinaire that you have on your iPad or on your phone, and it's free, which is the best part about it, is that if you have an Apple product, you have GarageBand, or you can get it for free. And it comes preloaded with this massive library of sound effects from different instruments, you know, guitar sound effects, all the way to synthetic electronic soundscape sound effects, and drum sound effects and drum machines. And you can record live vocals, you can record live instrumentals. It's a very, very, very powerful music production program for something that's basically free. And that's a great place to start. If you have an iPhone or an iPad, there are actual professional musicians that release music professionally that recorded it using a really common phone or tablet device that you have at home. They don't And a lot of people did that during the pandemic. They couldn't get out to the studio, so they got their iPad out and used Garageband. It's very user-friendly. So if you are someone who maybe you're watching and you're like, I really want to start learning how to make music, or maybe even recording covers of some of my favorite songs that other people have made, this is a very, very easy access point where you don't have to know everything about music theory to start. And so that's a great entry point. If you're sitting there thinking, wow, I really want to learn how to make music, but I don't have an iPhone, I don't have an iPad, what else is there? The other big program that I use is called Finale. And Finale and this other program called Sibelius are sort of the two giants. They're the Batman and the Superman of the, not the production software or the audio production software, but the music composition software. So if you are more interested in like, I want to write this down on paper so I can give it to a musician to play. I don't want to sit there and, type on a screen and create the sounds myself. I want to see what the music looks like on sheet music, and I want to print something out I can hand to a live musician. That's sort of the direction that you want to go. This program called Finale, because that lets you actually type the music out and put it on the screen using real musical symbols. But the best part is that it also lets you take what you've written and turn it into an audio file so that you can listen to it, you can share it. And the cool thing is that I've actually used both for the music that I've composed for your Lego characters. Is the one, the fanfare for the Champion League, that's using Finale, because I was like, I know exactly which chords I want and which notes I'm going to be using. So I'm going to sit down and I'm going to type this out. And then for the janitor's theme, that I use GarageBand for, because I was like, there's some sound effects in here. I want to be able to, I don't necessarily have it figured out in my head, but I know I can play the music if I sat down at a piano. And so I use GarageBand for that. So it depends on what you know already and what you want to do with your creation and how you want it to sound. But those are sort of the first two big ones if you are sitting at home and trying to get into music and just don't know where to start.
Well, I can't tell you how much I really appreciate the music. And I studied piano for a long time. And so when you had the lullaby sounds that were in there for the Super Sewer Baby part, I was just so excited. Just you had integrated this fanfare and heroic music, and then there's a little lullaby music in there too for the babies. It was just perfect. Now, speaking of collaborative builds, one of the things that you did midway through your Tricky Bricks career is that you went through a name change, and you were known as JMW Music to many of us. And I had mentioned this, that there's several people here, Alexander 23, for example, and Debo Bricks and Brickworm. And now we can add you to the list, that you started with one name and then you created this new name. So can you tell us a little bit more about what Joriel Builds is?
Absolutely. So when we started out, it was, just me doing a couple of Tricky Bricks challenges with Shane every now and again. But I wouldn't imagine spending this much time on something without Ariel joining me. And that's the second half of the name. So Joriel is John and Ariel. Ariel's my girlfriend. We're approaching our 3-year anniversary next month.
Wow, that's great.
Thank you. Thank you. We're excited for it, but it's been something that we've really loved doing together. We each have our own hobbies that are unique to us, but we both enjoy watching Lego Masters together, and we both really love the Lego brand and the product. And so there are a lot of things, if you visit our Instagram page, there are a lot of builds on there that we do together, because we both have different aspects of it that we really get into and that we really like. And so, I might start on something for Daily Brick Limit and put this, small thing together, and I might have the details down, but it's just sort of a thing. It's just sort of sitting there. And then Ariel will walk in and said, if you put in this minifigure and this accessory, oh, and you should add some of these here too. All of a sudden she has this great knack for sitting down and sort of adding these other details with all the fun pieces that really turns it into just instead of just being like an exercise with building blocks, and actually makes it something fun and actually puts a spin on it that takes it to the next level and makes it feel like more of a story. So, we both have our different sides of the Lego brain that we bring together, and it always enhances everything that we work on together. So that's the explanation behind the name, because I know a lot of people probably look at it and go like, what does this mean?
Well, I absolutely love it. And it's such a nice tribute to your relationship. And I just want to say a quick hello to Rick Brickham and Brickham's Den. Hello, welcome to the stream. And speaking of you and Joriel, I have to say I am so envious of you because you have been to Legoland. I have yet to go to a Legoland. And one of the things, if you want to live vicariously through Joriel Builds, go to his Instagram site, because you'll see some of the different adventures that he and Ariel have been through. And when you went to Legoland and you're posting all of the different exhibits, and I'm fairly new to the Lego space, and that's why when people say, you've never been to Legoland, it's like, no, I haven't. Someday. The closest one to me, I think, is in the San Diego area, but you went to the one in Florida, right? Am I right about that?
Yeah, it was a good time. We went down for spring break, and we just putting this out there. Legoland is not in Orlando; it's in Winter Haven, and we found that out the morning that we were planning to go. So we got up and we got in the car and we pulled up we were in Orlando because we were also going to Universal, and we pull Legoland up on the map, and it says, your destination is 90 minutes away. And we're just sitting there like, oh, goodness gracious. We missed out on the first, 2 hours of the park being open. But this is something, Lego is something that's got such a wide reach. I was like, I'm glad that we're here together and experiencing this together, but I have to post about this for our Instagram friends to follow along with, because it's not every day that everyone gets a chance to go. And we were lucky to be able to go, and wanted to make sure that all of our Tricky Lug friends and Instagram friends were able to sort of get a bird's eye view of what the park actually looks like on the inside. So it was a good time.
I was so envious. And you also got custom minifigs done there too, if I remember right.
Yeah, we got customized bricks. So we love taking one of our favorite things that we do is we take our sig figs, our minifigures that represent us. We take them with us when we travel, and we take pictures with them to all the different places we go. And so, we had to bring them along, but we also were able to get customized bricks, because that's something you can do. You can get a brick engraved with your name on it, or your Instagram handle, or whatever you want to get engraved on it, up to a certain number of characters. So if you visit our Instagram page, that's what's our profile picture right now. It's our sig figs standing on top of the custom bricks that we got engraved at the park. So I think that's one of the draws to the park, is there's some things that you get to do that you wouldn't be able to do just going to the stores.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you, before we segue into the daily brick limit and the daily brick limit update, of all the things that you have been building in Lego, what are you most proud of?
Most proud of? That's a good question. The mosaics were huge for me, because that was, one of the things that was cool about the Tricky Lug challenges is that every week them giving you a different theme or a topic or a building technique really helped us all expand our, abilities and explore what else we could do with our abilities and, build our creativity. But having that weekly stream with Shane and, doing a mosaic every week, that's something where I was sort of getting practice doing the same type of thing over and over. And I feel like there are a lot of tips and tricks and apps and books out there about how to get from point A to B faster and more efficiently, but nothing beats just practicing and spending time with it. And we spent so much time with those streams that I felt pretty proud of where we got with the mosaics by the time we were done. And so that's been one of the things on our channel that I've been more proud of. And I think it just goes to show, especially if you're someone that, you know, has been thinking in the last 20 minutes, you know what, I think I might try to give some of that music stuff a try, especially music, because that's what I teach, and practicing is an essential part of it. And you have to tell my kids the same thing, is that you have to be comfortable starting with something and maybe being bad at it for a little bit as you explore and get used to it. So especially with something like music, whether you're using an app like Garageband, where you can actually play a digital instrument, or using a program like Finale, where you're using music theory to put your bricks together, your musical bricks together, or whether you're just building in general, you have to be comfortable with being just okay at first. And as you put the time in, you will get better and your abilities will advance. And there's no shortcut to it. You just have to put in the time. So, you know, don't look for shortcuts, because that's going to skip over the whole experience for you. So I know that was sort of not exactly the question you asked, but
I'm going to say mosaics and the time you spent maybe with Shane in developing those mosaics.
Yeah, definitely. So that's the short answer. Mosaics.
Now, I wanted to ask, in case anybody wants to watch those IGTV sessions, I think Shane was hosting most of those, right? Or did you host them?
Yeah,
or
no,
did
Shane
you go back and forth? Okay, so go to Joriel Builds Instagram TV section, and you can see some of them. And if you don't see some of them there, they'll be also in Shane Levan's page. And the one, of course, that I'm very fond of is when you did Super Sewer Baby as a mosaic. And I just happened to log in that time because I wasn't able to make all your sessions because you were streaming on Tuesday nights, and I work on Tuesday nights. But that particular day, I remember I jumped on and you said, "Oh, Brickanista, I'm so glad you're here. I can't wait to show you this." And it was just so much fun because you're talking to the camera, you're talking with each other, you're talking about a topic in Lego, and then you hear you working with the bricks, and then all of a sudden you say, "Here it is." It was great.
Yes, if you want to find Shane, his Instagram handle is Shane Levan Lego. Levan is spelled Levan. But that I remember that one specifically because, you know, the storytelling that you did was so exciting and inspirational to so many of us. We were like, oh, we have to do a sewer baby build, you know, for one of these streams. And then, like you said, you know, you were working on Tuesday nights, and so the stream was going and going and going, and I'm like, oh no, she's not here. She can't see it. She can't log on. She can't see what's going on right now. And then finally, like right at the very end, popped up and said, Brickanista has joined the chat. We're like, yes, she made it. And so we were able to show it to you, you know, while we were wrapping up. So
I was so touched by that. And for those of you who don't know about it, if you don't see it on IGTV, there's a little tiny icon, which is available on the Tricky Bricks Discord page. So if you go to Tricky Bricks Discord and then you see the little icons, there's one for Clicky, there's one for Logan, and there's one for Super Sewer Baby. And I can't tell you how touched I was, especially when you said, "I'm so glad you're here," because I wanted to show you this. And so let's chat a little bit about the daily brick limit, because the other reason why Joriel Builds and I have been in this really great collaboration, and I have to tell you, I'm so thrilled that it worked out so well. But let's start at the very beginning, because you started this in August of 2020. And what gave you the idea of this? And then we'll talk about what happened in January.
Well, this is, you know, the other answer to, you know, what I'm most proud of so far on this creative journey is, and this is originally something that wasn't supposed to be a big, huge deal, but, you know, we had the whole pandemic that everybody was on lockdown, and that's when Shane and Ariel and I really started getting back into Lego as a hobby. And it started picking up, and all of us are spending so much time with it every day, every week, just building and building and building. And then the school year rolled back around. Like I said, I'm a teacher, and my school district, we were going back into the school buildings in August to teach. August, we started all virtual, but we were still teaching from the building. So, you know, having summer break, and then also having those last couple months of the school year before that where we were on lockdown, I was like, man, we've been building so much, and now I have to go back to work, and I want to keep doing this, but I want to find a way to do it that's not going to overwhelm what I'm trying to do with work, or let the hobby fall totally to the wayside. So I was like, what can I do that will help me keep building every day, but scale it way back so that I can keep building while leaving room for work and for those important things like that. So so the original idea back in August was like, okay, I want one way that I can give myself some restrictions to help focus the building but keep it going on a daily basis is, what if I just took the number of the calendar day, and that was my daily brick limit. That is the number of bricks that I can use, and I have to build one thing for that day. So for example, on August 1st, I'm going to build something with 1 brick in it. And then August 2nd, I'll build something with 2 bricks in it, and so on and so forth throughout the month. And that first month, I didn't quite finish it, but we did get to have a few people join in. And I advertised it and put it out there, and got friends like you and like Brickworm that were also building along. And as virtual school started back up in August of 2020, even that that first month, even I didn't get to build every day, but I still got to keep the hobby going at a manageable level without losing it or it getting overwhelming. And that was sort of the original idea, and it was a good time. It was fun. It was a sort of a different challenge, sort of like we've been talking with Tricky Lug. Every week has a different theme or a different challenge. If you can give yourself some sort of a box to build within or to create within, that's going to allow you to really stay focused and then eventually build out of the box. But that was the box that I created for August. And once 2021 rolled around, that's when you reached out to me, and Brickanista says, no, we should consider doing this again, because it was pretty fun in August and there weren't a whole lot of us doing it, but I think that it would be worth it to do it again. And I was like, great, because exactly the same thing as August. And January rolls around, I got to leave from Christmas break and get back to work. And same thing, I want to keep building, but I want to manage it and maybe see if we can get some other people joining us along the way. And that sort of leads us to January. So.
And since we were talking about August, I remember that you, me, and Brickworm were pretty much the top 3 people. I can't even remember if we had one rando who came in, but the 3 of us were building, and at one point you would see the 3 of our little daily brick limits show up. And we were trying to keep each other accountable, which was a lot of fun. And when I reached out to you, I think you were also sharing with me that you weren't sure about, what if this idea was going to continue and how large it would get. And I said, well, why don't we just, try it again? And I'm certainly able to throw in a couple prizes, and then you threw in a prize too. And then I think that was really the little spark that really made this thing explode. And I think several people here may have also participated in the Daily Brick Limit Challenge in January. And I don't know if you have some of those statistics that you would like to share with regard to the Daily Brick Limit.
Looking that up. I was literally in the middle of trying to pull that up, right then and there. So
oh, sure. No, keep pulling it up, and I'll Hooded One just showed up.
Yeah, that's
hello.
Hello.
Hi, Hooded One. Hoy hoy. How are you? And yeah, we're having just a really quick little interview with Joriel Builds, and we're also excited because we are getting ready to announce something coming up soon. Yes. But I don't want to take away Joriel Builds' thunder. So this is the mastermind behind the Daily Brick Limit global phenomenon.
I wouldn't say that.
That's what I'm going to call it, the global phenomenon of the Daily Brick Limit.
I appreciate that. That's an awesome hyping up material right there. So I did get the statistics pulled up, and I wouldn't say global, but we did have people from
It is
7 different countries
global.
participating. So
It is global.
you're right.
It is
You're right.
global because we reached what, 7 different countries, something like
We had
that.
7 different countries. So it was here, it
It's
was
global.
Brazil, it was Portugal, it was
Say it with me. Global phenomenon.
global phenomenon.
There you go.
So yeah, we had a lot of people from the Netherlands join us. At the end of it, we had 102 people join in at all. And, we had a couple of different things that you had to accomplish to be eligible to be put in for our prize drawing. And we had 71 of those 102 people meet all those requirements, which was awesome. And we had 20 people participate every single day of the month in January, which was also awesome because, like I said, this was something that I started back in August just for fun to help me while I got back to work. And I didn't even finish it, that first month. And I barely finished it in January myself. There might have been one day in there that I had to miss, that I had to go back and build something again later. So it's 2 different types of challenge. At the beginning is like, wow, I can only use 3 bricks. How am I supposed to tell a story using only 3 bricks? And then at the end of the month, it's like, oh boy, okay, I got really good at building something with only like 7 or 8 bricks. Now I have to do something with 30. So it was surprisingly challenging to get to the end of the month, but a lot of people joined in and it was a great time. And it sort of became, just, one more community on Instagram where we were able to build that supportive network for people. So that's right. That was all the excitement of it in January for me.
And we affectionately know this community as the DBL community too. So that's something we're going to say, the DBL community that we have is a global phenomenon.
Global phenomenon. That's the buzzword right there.
That's right. Thank you for humoring me with that. Now, you said that we've reached 7 countries, 102 builders. How many builds in total?
Let's see. That was 1,628 total entries. So that was over 1,600 miniature builds that we all collectively built together in the course of 1 month, which is pretty exciting.
That's a lot. And then we've also had some really great names who participated too. We had some Lego masters who were part of this challenge. And I think one of them, is it Manny Viva Lego, I believe, did every single day.
Yes, that was one of our 31 entry participants right there, which was awesome. It was super cool to have a few different Lego masters pop in. I know that Boone joined us and that Richard and Flynn joined us for a little while. And it was just very
Corey
exciting.
Samuel
And yes,
well.
Yes.
And a future Lego master ended up joining us as well, which we didn't know at the time. As Ms. Slow-Brickta also had, and she's been continuing to do daily brick limit challenges, even though in between January and now, we've been doing holiday brick limits. And hello, Dave Morgan. Yes, global phenomenon. He's saying it too. We're all going to say it. Every time we see you, Joriel Builds, we're going to say he's the person responsible for this global phenomenon.
That's the new hashtag global phenomenon.
Yes, there we go. Hashtag global phenomenon. So let's talk a little bit about, so what's next? What's next for the daily brick limit?
Well, like you said, Dawn, who went on to, join Lego Masters for season 2, she, back in January, she was somebody that did decide, what, I'm going to sort of find a theme for all of my builds. She was doing all of these cool holiday themed builds to advertise some of the lesser known holidays like Peanut Butter Day and Donut Day. And so one of the, cool things that we've been trying to do together since January is do these little miniature holiday builds where every month we pick 3 or 4 holidays and ask everybody to make a holiday themed build. And Miss Slow-Brickta, who a lot of us know as Dawn, has basically built one for every single day of the year so far, which has been awesome. And
it's mind blowing that she has the time to do it and that she is so consistent and productive.
absolutely, it's been really cool to watch that evolve creatively. And that sort of inspired what we've been doing in the months since then. But we want to do a huge mega month-long event again because it was such a great experience for all of us back in January. And there's been a lot of excitement for it. So next month in July, we're going to do it again. We're going to do the full month. And basically, you're welcome to participate in it as much as you want to. But the goal is to see how many people can we get to participate for as much of the month as possible. If you end up being able to build every single day of the month, awesome. And you can end the month of July with 31 builds. And if not, one of the things that Brickanista mentioned is that we do a prize giveaway. We did that in January and it helped build a lot of excitement. And basically, if you can complete at least 10 builds over the course of the month, then we'll enter you into a drawing to receive a prize. And for the month of July, what we'll be doing is issuing Lego gift cards to 3 of the lucky winners. And that way we can actually send rewards and prizes to people with a little bit of further reach and a greater scope. So if you'd like to join us, it's an awesome community and we have a great time with it, and it sparks so much creativity. Like we said, give yourself a box and see what you can do inside of it, and then you'll start being surprised at what you can do outside of it. And then every day that box gets just a little bit bigger, and we're going to be doing it the whole month of July. So find me or Brickanista on Instagram, and you can also find Daily Brick Limit on Instagram because we manage the contest through its own account. And if you're interested in learning some more about it, we got all the information on Instagram for you. And that's basically where we all post all of our builds. So it's a great time, and it starts, July 1st. So coming up really soon.
That's part of the reason why I wanted to have you on the show too, is because we wanted to give people a heads up that this was coming on July 1st. You'll be hearing more updates from the 2 of us. And I just want to also say, not only was this a global phenomenon in and of itself, but after we ran the January round 2 is what we're calling it. So August was round 1, January was round 2, July is going to be round 3. But after we ran the daily brick limit, we got so many great responses from people around the world saying, this is great that we're getting rejuvenated with the hobby. These were people outside of Turkey Lug too, which was interesting. But I think I'm going to give you credit for this. Maybe people will say I'm out of my mind, but I give you credit for also starting challenges in the year 2021. Is that after the daily brick limit happened, and then we decided to, go to holiday brick limit, then all of a sudden, all these other challenges started popping up. So I'm going to say that you were the catalyst of that. Thanks to you.
That global catalyst.
The global phenomenon catalyst.
Thank you.
So for those of you who don't know about the daily brick limit rules, do you want to go ahead and go through that real quickly as far as
how
we can participate?
Do the abridged version of it. Basically, you're going to build 1 MOC, which that stands for my own creation. You build 1 MOC a day, and you only can use the number of pieces that there are in that calendar day. So on July 1st, everyone's going to tell a story using 1 brick or 1 Lego piece. And on day 2, you're going to tell a story or build a MOC that only uses 2 pieces, so on and so forth. Every day, you're going to use the hashtag daily brick limit so that we can all see your builds. And we want you to tag the 2 of us in it so that we can stay connected with you on Instagram, send you messages, send you updates, things like that, and find the rest of your builds too. So your very first post, whether you join on July 1st, July 10th, July 20th, whenever it is, use the hashtag, tag the 2 of us. And then we also want you to tag 3 of your friends, because the best part of this experience is the community that came out of it. And it was so supportive and so positive and so uplifting and so creative. we really want to try to expand that network as much as we can. So we also want you to tell us what country you're posting from. So that very first post, there's a lot on that first post that's writing on it, but it's all things that really help take the experience to the next level for everybody. Post where you're building from, what country specifically, so that we can sort of keep track of this global phenomenon as it evolves over the course of the month. And then, from there, every day you're adding another brick. And we're asking everybody, if you want to be eligible for one of the gift cards we'll be giving away, build at least 10, take part in 10 different days. You can start at any point in the month. So if you're watching this on YouTube and it's July 2nd, you're not too late. You can join whenever you want to. Some people that joined a little bit too late went back and started catching up with some other builds from some of the days that they missed, which is totally fine. But the only constraint is that you have to limit yourself to the number of pieces of the calendar day, and minifigures count in that. And this is, I think, the last thing that I got to wrap up how it works. But an official Lego minifigure counts as 3 pieces. It's the legs, the torso, and it's the head. And from there, you would add a piece for every hat or hair or accessory, what have you. And so just be aware that unlike holiday brick limits where minifigures don't count, in an official month-long contest, yes, the minifigures do count in the part limit. But that's just one more side of the box that helps focus what you're building and inspire your building as you start to expand and build out of the box from there. So embrace the challenge and let it guide your creativity. And it's really, really exciting to see all the building techniques and storytelling techniques that really come out of the woodwork when you try to do something like this. So it's going to be great.
Well, I wanted to thank you again, not only for all of the creativity that you've inspired around the world, but also I really value your friendship. And I'm so grateful that you and I met through the Tricky Bricks and Tricky Lug collaborations that we've done. And I'm looking forward to July 1st. I will be doing this daily. And for those of you who are new to the Brickanista Broadcast Network, I stream both on Twitch and on YouTube. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're watching it later and you found this really interesting, please subscribe. And once again, thank you everyone for all of your support. Thank you, Joriel Builds, for being my special guest today. I hope I get to meet you in person sometime real soon. Do you have any conventions that you have on your radar?
None that we have scheduled at the moment, but we're trying to, sort of see where we can go and travel to in the next couple of years. So, we'd love to visit a convention someday in the near future. So, huge thank you.
October, Seattle.
Seattle in October. Okay, cool. I gotta get the lay of the land of when all the different conventions happen. But,
well, I don't know if it's going to be in person yet. They're going to make that decision July 15th. But I am happy to say I just got word from the theme coordinators or the team lead of all the coordinators. I said, I want to have dream bunkers and I want to have these steampunk airships in the dystopian place. I'm one of the theme coordinators for Dystopia. And he gave me the thumbs up. He says, I'm really excited about the steampunk airship. So stay tuned. I'm going to say, if you can't come in person, please build something for that. We would love to have you there. And Glenn Copeland just arrived. Hi, Glenn. How are you? We are actually getting ready to wrap up because I have to be over at Bricks by the Bay at 2:00. So I do want to thank you, John. I'm going to call you John because I know you're as Joriel Builds, but I've known you as John, and a talented musician, talented Lego artist, talented in so many ways in driving this global phenomenon. Thank you again.
I appreciate you inviting us on because it's been an awesome opportunity to collaborate with you, and I thank you for being such an inspiring storyteller that you create such wonderful things that inspires other people to rally around you and add their own contributions. And that's one thing that you didn't mention about the global phenomenon that is the Super Baby Champion League of Legos, is that other people have been contributing their own characters and builds to it. And it's just been awesome to have someone as encouraging as you in our Lego community, because that's also something that's awesome about you, is how much you've poured into other people and encouraged them to create along with you. So it's been an honor to be on here today. I want to give a special shout out to all the dads that are watching today.
Yes, happy
Father's Day. But thank you so much, and looking forward to doing this in July again, because it's a great time.
That's great. Thank you so much again. Thank you all the viewers, and thank you all the dads for all the support you've given to all your children, and to my dad too. Happy Father's Day. And as they say in the Brickanista Broadcast Network, may the clutch be with you. Thank you.
Bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye.